The 4 housing resets, how the Fed just flipped the home price game. 1. The Fed's flip. Last week, the Federal Reserve pulled a fast one. After months of "we need more data," Chair Jerome Powell stood at Jackson Hole and quietly flipped his script. He said, "The balance of risk appears to be shifting." Translation: rate cuts are coming, and markets went wild. Stocks soared, mortgage companies started advertising lower rates ahead, and real estate agents texted buyers like it was 2021 again. So what does that actually mean? On paper, cheaper mortgages sound like a win for home values. But here's the catch: Powell also promised to go back to strict 2% inflation targeting, the opposite of his old "let inflation run hot" policy. You can't both cut rates and crush inflation. That's the contradiction. The Fed now faces a paradox: cut too little, and housing stays expensive while the economy drags. Cut too much, and another bubble inflates, only to be popped later. Either way, it's short-term sugar with long-term decay. Footnote. This section explains how the Fed's new rate cut meets inflation fight stance sets up a policy contradiction that temporarily boosts, then restrains, housing prices. 2. The property tax punishment. Now for reset number 2, your local tax assessor. Across the country, 2025 is a reassessment year, and assessors are using pandemic-era peak values to update your taxes. Translation: home values might be dropping, but your tax bill isn't. In places like DC, residential assessments are up 9 to 13%. In Colorado, rates jumped 6% if property values rose more than 5%. The cruel irony? You appear wealthier on paper but poorer in reality, paying hundreds more each month for gains you never pocketed. So what does that actually mean? Fake wealth, real costs. The market cools, but your taxes heat up. Footnote. This section describes how reassessment cycles inflate property taxes based on outdated peak valuations, raising owner costs even as market prices soften. 3. The market reality crash. Here's the quiet truth: 36% of America's biggest housing markets are already falling. That's 109 metro areas, mostly in Florida, Texas, Arizona, Colorado, and Louisiana. Nashville? Inventory doubled and prices slid. Austin? Down 15%. Miami? Down 19%. So what does that actually mean? Sellers are still stuck in 2021 Fantasyland. They'd rather sit on listings than accept reality. Meanwhile, buyers face a weird paradox: prices high, taxes higher, and sellers refusing to budge. Homes are now 80% above their long-term average price-to-income ratio. Buying costs $2,800 a month on average, renting costs $2,000. In some cities, buying is 150 to 170% more expensive than renting. The math just doesn't work. Footnote. This section highlights declining real prices, inflated affordability ratios, and seller resistance that prolongs the housing correction. 4. The algorithm illusion. Zillow and other pricing algorithms are giving homeowners false hope. Their estimates often miss by 7% or more, especially off-market. Sellers then list too high, pushing comps up artificially. The result? A feedback loop of digital optimism disconnected from human buyers. So what does that actually mean? Online, your home's value might look great. In reality, no one's paying that price. It's the Instagram filter version of real estate, prettier than the truth. Footnote. This section examines how algorithmic pricing errors create inflated valuations and distort real market activity. 5. Which reset wins? Every neighborhood is being pulled in 4 directions at once. The Fed's flip props prices up temporarily. The tax reset quietly erodes your budget. The market reset drags values down in slow motion. The algorithm reset cloud's perception entirely. To find out which one's winning in your area, check 3 numbers. Inventory, if it's doubled, prices are falling. Days on market, over 60 means buyers are cautious. Buy versus rent ratio, if buying costs 150% more than renting, values will likely drop. So what does that actually mean? If your city fails the zip code test, brace for a correction. If it passes, expect a plateau. Footnote. This section provides a simple 3-part diagnostic for identifying whether a local market is inflating or deflating. 6. What to do now? If you're buying, use the slowdown to negotiate hard. Sellers anchored to old prices are vulnerable to data-driven buyers. If you're selling, price below inflated online estimates to attract maximum exposure. Underpricing isn't underselling, it's smart marketing. If you're staying, appeal your tax assessment using recent sale data, not peak pandemic numbers. Many homeowners win these appeals, it's not as hopeless as it seems. And for everyone, stop trusting algorithms. Watch the numbers in your neighborhood, not the headlines. So what does that actually mean? The housing market isn't collapsing or soaring, it's recalibrating. Winners will be those who adapt before the algorithms do. Footnote. This section offers actionable strategies for buyers, sellers, and homeowners facing conflicting price signals and taxation pressures.